Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, endless ocean. The waves crash rhythmically against the shore, each one whispering secrets of the universe. You close your eyes and take a deep breath, inhaling the salty air filled with the promise of new beginnings. In this moment, you feel an overwhelming connection to something greater than yourself. But then, just as suddenly, the voice inside your head emerges, shattering that tranquility with a cacophony of self-doubt and judgment. It tells you who you are, what you should be, and how you should feel. This voice, familiar yet foreign, becomes the lens through which you view your existence. But what if I told you that this voice does not define you? In our journey through life, we often mistake this inner dialogue for our true selves. We become entangled in the narratives woven by our thoughts, believing that the critical whispers echoing in our minds are an authentic representation of who we are. We allow the voice to dictate our emotions and actions, shackling us to a distorted reality. Yet, we must ask ourselves, is this internal chatter truly reflective of our essence? Or is it merely a collection of fears, insecurities, and societal expectations? Consider the complexity of human consciousness. It is a labyrinth of thoughts, feelings, and perceptions, each one shaping our reality. As we navigate this intricate maze, we encounter countless voices, some nurturing and encouraging, while others are harsh and unyielding. We often find ourselves lost, wandering through a fog of self-doubt, questioning our worth and purpose. Yet, amidst this chaos lies a profound truth. We are not defined by the voices that reside within us. Instead, we are the ones who give them power. Let us take a moment to explore the nature of these voices. Imagine they are akin to passing clouds in the sky, drifting in and out of our awareness. Some days they may loom dark and heavy, threatening to obscure the sun. But just as the weather changes, so too do our thoughts. What if we could learn to observe these clouds without becoming entangled in their shadows? What if we could allow them to pass, recognizing that they are not us, but merely transient visitors in the vast expanse of our minds? In this light, we begin to uncover the deeper meaning of our internal dialogue. The voice in your head, filled with doubt and fear, is often a reflection of past experiences and the narratives that have been ingrained in us since childhood. It is a product of societal conditioning, cultural norms, and the expectations of others. But it is not the ultimate truth of who you are. You are so much more than the sum of your thoughts. You are the observer, the conscious being capable of transcending the limitations imposed by that voice. Through this journey of self-discovery, we learn to embrace our true essence, a place of stillness and clarity beneath the noise. This is where we find our authentic selves, untainted by the chaos of our thoughts. Here we can redefine our reality, aligning our actions with our deepest values and desires. We can awaken to the realization that we hold the power to challenge the narratives that no longer serve us. And in doing so, we begin to transform our relationship with ourselves and the world around us. So, as we venture deeper into this exploration, I invite you to reflect on your inner voice. What does it say about you? Is it a compassionate ally or a harsh critic? What stories have you accepted as truth? And how have they shaped your perception of reality? Join me in this journey of introspection as we unravel the complexities of human existence. Together, we will uncover the truth that lies beyond the confines of our minds. If the voice in your head does not define you, then why does it hold so much power over your emotions, your choices, your very sense of self? Why does it feel like an unstoppable force, dictating the way you see yourself and the world around you? To answer this, we must first understand where this voice comes from. It is not some divine entity, nor is it an inherent truth. It is a a collection of past experiences, fears, societal expectations, and conditioned beliefs. It is the echo of every lesson we have ever been taught, every word ever spoken to us, every fear we have ever internalized. It is a mirror reflecting back the world as we have come to understand it, rather than as it truly is. But here lies the paradox. This voice does not speak the absolute truth, yet we believe it as though it does. When it whispers, "You are not good enough," we nod in agreement. When it hisses, "You will fail," we hesitate. When it screams, "You are unworthy," we shrink into ourselves. We mistake the voice for our own, unaware that we have the power to question it, to challenge it, to rise above it. Take a moment to think about your thoughts. How often do they uplift you? How often do they tear you down? Now ask yourself this. If a stranger spoke to you the way your own mind does, would you listen? Would you believe them? Or would you walk away, knowing that their words hold no weight? This realization is the first step toward freedom. The moment you recognize that your thoughts are not absolute truths, but passing opinions, you begin to loosen their grip. You begin to see them for what they are, mere noise, fragments of an old script that no longer serves you. But if you are not the voice in your head, then who are you? You are the one who listens. You are the awareness behind the thoughts, the silent observer witnessing the ceaseless chatter of your mind. The voice may speak, but you are the one who decides whether to believe it. You are not the storm. You are the sky that holds it. You are not the waves. You are the ocean beneath them. And when you realize this, everything begins to change. In the quiet spaces between thoughts, in the stillness beyond the noise, there is something deeper, something truer, something that cannot be defined by words alone. This is the real you, the part untouched by doubt, unshaken by fear, uninfluenced by the past, the part that exists beyond the labels, beyond the expectations, beyond the conditioned mind. So, what happens when you stop identifying with the voice? You begin to reclaim your power. You begin to reshape your reality. You begin to see yourself not as the product of your thoughts, but as the master of them. And in this realization, you find the courage to rewrite your story, to break free from the illusions that have held you captive and step fully into the vast, limitless truth of who you really are. And so I ask you again, if your thoughts do not define you, then who are you? Silencing the noise. It sounds simple, doesn't it? Just quiet the mind, let go of the thoughts, and exist in peaceful awareness. But if it were that easy, we wouldn't find ourselves trapped in the endless cycle of self-doubt, fear, and mental chatter. The voice in our head is relentless, always whispering, always narrating, always defining who we are, even when we know it shouldn't. So, how do we break free? How do we loosen the grip of this inner voice and step into the truth of who we really are? The first step is to observe without judgment. Imagine sitting by a river, watching leaves drift downstream. Some leaves are large, others small, some torn, others whole. They float by, carried by the current, moving in and out of sight. This is how your thoughts behave. They arise, linger, and pass away. But here's the crucial part. You are not the leaves. You are the observer sitting on the bank. Most of us make the mistake of chasing after every thought, grabbing onto it, believing it defines us. When a negative thought arises, "I'm not good enough," "I'll never succeed," we grasp it, hold it close, and allow it to shape our reality. But what if we could simply watch these thoughts float by without attaching ourselves to them? What if we could let them come and go without giving them power? This is the key to inner freedom. Detachment is not ignoring your thoughts. It is seeing them clearly without becoming them. When you learn to observe your inner voice with awareness, You realize that it is not you. It is just noise, a conditioned pattern, an old script playing on repeat. And like any script, it can be rewritten. The second step is to challenge the narrative. Who gave this voice its authority? Who decided that it should be believed without question? If a stranger walked up to you and said, "You are a failure," would you accept it without argument? Or would you stand up and say, "You don't know me"? Yet, when this voice arises in our own mind, we accept it as truth. We never question it, never demand proof, never fight back. But here's something to consider. If this voice has been wrong before, if it has ever told you, "You can't do this," only for you to prove it wrong, then why do you still believe it now? Start questioning the voice. The next time it tells you, "You are not worthy," ask, "According to who?" When it says, "You will fail," ask, "Where is the evidence?" When it says, "You are not enough," ask, "By whose standards?" And when the voice has no answer, when it stutters, when it weakens, when it begins to lose its power, you will know that you have taken control. The final step is to replace the voice with a new one. If your thoughts create your reality, then why not create a reality that empowers you? Why not build a new inner voice, one that supports you, lifts you, strengthens you? If the mind can be trained to doubt and fear, then it can also be trained to believe and trust. Imagine speaking to yourself the way you would to a loved one, with kindness, with encouragement, with patience. What if instead of "I'm not good enough," you heard, "I am growing, I am learning, I am evolving"? What if instead of "I will fail," you heard, "Every challenge makes me stronger"? Rewiring the mind is not easy. It requires repetition, effort, and conscious choice. But the more you replace the old voice with a new one, the more your inner world begins to shift. And as your inner world shifts, so does your life. You are not the voice in your head. You are the one who decides which voice to listen to. And when you choose to listen to the voice of strength, of courage, of self-belief, when you create a new inner dialogue that serves you rather than enslaves you, you step into your true power. What happens when you finally break free? When you no longer allow the voice in your head to dictate your reality? When you see through the illusions that once held you captive? Freedom, but not the kind of freedom most people imagine. Not the absence of problems, not the disappearance of challenges, not a life untouched by pain or struggle. No, this is a different kind of freedom, one that exists in the very depths of your being. It is the freedom to experience life without being ruled by your thoughts, to feel emotions without being consumed by them, to walk through fear without letting it paralyze you, to live, truly live, without the endless weight of self-doubt, hesitation, and regret. This is the moment you reclaim yourself. But let's be honest, the voice in your head will not disappear overnight. It has been with you for years, maybe even decades. It has shaped your beliefs, influenced your actions, and built the walls that confined you. It will not surrender easily. So how do you ensure that it never controls you again? For so long you have mistaken your thoughts for your identity. You have allowed them to define you, to tell you who you are and what you are capable of. But the truth is, you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. The next time a thought arises, whether it is self-doubt, fear, or insecurity, step back. Observe it, but do not claim it. Instead of saying, "I am anxious," say, "There is anxiety present in me." Instead of saying, "I am a failure," say, "There is a thought telling me I am a failure." Do you see the shift? The moment you stop identifying with your thoughts, they lose their grip on you. The voice in your head thrives on time. It either drags you into the past or projects you into the future. It reminds you of old wounds, past mistakes, and missed opportunities. or it fills you with worry about what is to come, convincing you that you are unprepared, incapable, unworthy. But reality exists only in this moment, right now, here. The next time your mind pulls you away, ground yourself in the present. Take a deep breath. Feel the air entering your lungs, the weight of your body against the ground. Look around, see the colors, hear the sounds, feel the textures. Anchor yourself in the now, because in this moment you are not your past. You are not your fears. You are simply being. And in that being there is peace. There is a place within you that the voice cannot reach. A stillness beyond all thought, beyond all noise. This is your true nature. But to access it, you must practice silence. Not just the silence of your surroundings, but the silence within. Meditation, deep breathing, stillness. These are the tools that lead you back to yourself. When you quiet the noise, you begin to hear something deeper, something wiser, something truer than any thought could ever be. This is where you find clarity. This is where you meet the real you. If the voice in your head does not define you, then what does? Your actions. Not your fears, not your doubts, not the old beliefs that no longer serve you, but the choices you make, the energy you embody, the life you create. Every day you have the power to choose. Will you listen to the voice that limits you, or will you step into the truth of your limitless potential? Will you allow old narratives to define you, or will you rewrite your story? Because in the end, that is what this journey is about, reclaiming your power. So here you stand, at the threshold of something greater than you've ever known. Beyond the doubts, beyond the fears, beyond the voice that once controlled you. A vast, open space of possibility stretches before you. But the question remains, what will you do with this freedom? For so long you have been tangled in the stories of your mind, stories of who you should be, what you should fear, what you can and cannot do. These stories have shaped your reality, created your limitations, and dictated the way you moved through life. But now you see the truth. They were never real to begin with. Your thoughts do not define you. Your fears do not define you. The past does not define you. You are not the conditioned patterns running through your mind. You are not the echoes of old pain. You are not the voice that once told you that you were not enough. So, who are you? You are awareness itself, the silent observer beneath all the noise, the unshaken presence beyond the storm of thoughts, the space in which all things arise and pass away. You are not your mind. You are the one who watches it, and once you see this, you are no longer bound by it, living beyond the mind. True freedom is not found in silencing your thoughts. It is found in no longer being controlled by them. It is the ability to witness them without believing them, to let them come and go without letting them shape your identity. You may still hear the voice from time to time. It may whisper doubts, it may stir old fears, it may try to pull you back into its grasp. But now you know the truth. The voice is not you. You are the presence behind it, the vastness beyond it, the infinite consciousness that it can never touch. And from this place of awareness, you step into your highest power, reclaiming your infinite potential. Now that you are free from the illusions of your mind, you can begin to create something new. Not a life dictated by fear, but a life guided by purpose. Not a reality shaped by doubt, but a reality built on courage. You no longer move through life as a prisoner of your own thoughts. You move with intention, with clarity, with deep, unshakable knowing. You do not shrink to fit the narratives of your past. You expand into the infinite possibility of your future. You no longer wait for permission to be who you were meant to be. You choose. And this choice, this realization, this awakening, this is where your true life begins. The final truth. There is nothing left to search for, no answer outside of yourself, no validation needed, no approval required, because everything you have ever sought, every bit of peace, every ounce of strength, every drop of love, has always been within you. The voice in your head never defined you. It never could, because you, the real you, is limitless. Now go and live in that truth.